Hi, welcome back to another Fresh Look Friday. I'm Lora, and today I'm going to share with you some YA fiction and nonfiction, all inspired by true crime. So if you're really into like true crime documentaries or podcasts, these are the books for you. I'm going to start with this one. I could not put this book down. I listened to it and I just needed to be listening to it no matter what I was doing. It's a newer one. It's called All These Bodies by Kendare Blake. So this takes place in 1958. It is inspired by two different true crimes, two different murder sprees, which you can read more about after you finish this book, I recommend. All These Bodies, 1958. There's been a series of murders throughout the Midwest, basically in Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. The last murder takes place in this small town in Minnesota. And the unique thing about all of these murders is that the bodies are left completely drained of blood. There is no more blood in any of the bodies. So this book opens up at the last murder in Minnesota. Michael is our main character. He's 17. His father is the sheriff of this small town, and he ends up being there at the crime scene with his father once it has been reported in. And his friend is one of the ones that has been murdered, and his parents. And when Michael peeks into this room, he sees someone else, a girl, a teenage girl named Marie Catherine Hale. And the unique thing about this is she is completely covered, drenched in blood. Not her blood, the blood of the murder victims. So clearly she is taken in for questioning. Michael ends up becoming kind of her confidant. He wants to be a journalist, so he's kind of using that. Maybe he can write a story about these murders and trying to befriend Marie Catherine Hale to see if she can find out how she was involved. There's a lot of twists and turns. It reminded me a lot of Stephen King and Stand By Me. If you like those stories, I would definitely check out All These Bodies. It was definitely a little creepy at times. Marie Catherine Hale, super unreliable. You never know what to believe, what she's saying, but you definitely need to know what happened and why all these bodies have no blood. All These Bodies. Very, very good. Next, I have The Ivies. So this is a contemporary story. It takes place in a boarding school. We have 5 girls. They are friends. They've been friends throughout all of their boarding school career. They are all very well off. That's how they can afford to go to boarding school, except for one, Olivia. She is a scholarship student. And Olivia is the one that tells this story. So they're called the Ivies, these 5 girls, because they are all applying for Ivy League schools to go to college. Each of them has been assigned one by the leader of their group. That is the school they will apply to, and they work together to make sure that they get into these schools. Only one of them is supposed to have applied for Harvard. Turns out 3 of them do, and Olivia, our main character, who's not supposed to be applying to Harvard, gets accepted. Along with one of the other girls, Emma, she gets accepted. Obviously, this is traumatic and there's lots of yelling and screaming. And then the next day, Emma turns up murdered. So Olivia is obviously a suspect. All of the Ivies are suspects. Twists and turns, secrets, a lot of drama, angsty high school stuff. But in a boarding school with murder and that high stakes of like getting into the school that you are trying so hard to get into, but with lots of money and lots of influence. And you find out that the Ivies definitely didn't do things even legally to get where they are. So it was twisty and turny, and I never figured out who the murder was until the very end. And then I was like smacked with surprise. So The Ivies, recommend that one too. Okay. Then we have The Firekeeper's Daughter. This one's actually pretty famous. It came out a couple years ago. Reese Witherspoon designated it as a book club winner, book club choice, and it won the Prince Award, I believe. Donis is 18. She's our main character, and she is Ojibwe. And she feels very disconnected from that culture because she did not grow up on the reservation. So she feels like she doesn't belong any place, right? She happens to witness a murder of her friend. It's very disturbing, and she doesn't know what to do. She wants to play hockey because that's her joy, but she's finding it hard to concentrate. She doesn't know who to turn to. And then the FBI gets involved, and things get a lot more complicated. There's drugs involved, and people that she thought she could trust, she couldn't. There's different people who she thought she knew are completely different than who they were. And the FBI asks her to go undercover, to kind of get into this community, her Ojibwe community again, and really figure out who murdered her friend. And so she has to do that. And in the process of doing that, she really discovers who she is and how she does fit in, and she helps solve that murder. Firekeeper's Daughter. Our last one is the nonfiction one. It's about Lizzie Borden. You may have heard of Lizzie Borden or heard the little rhyme that goes, Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw that what she had done, she gave her father 41. Well, that is based on a real, true murder. Lizzie Borden actually lived. She's a real person, and her father and stepmother actually were brutally murdered with an axe. This all happened in 1892. It was very, very scandalous. Lizzie found these bodies and screamed for help. The maid, everyone came running, and Lizzie was the prime suspect. And this book is nonfiction, so it goes through and gives newspaper articles and interviews, and there's photographs of all of these people, and there's Lizzie. It was very disturbing. There's maps. It was an intense murder. And there's crime scene photographs. It reads like a novel, but everything in this is true, which makes it creepier, I think. So if you do like those true crime documentaries, I would definitely pick up the Borden Murders. All right, that's what I have for you today. If none of those appeal to you, we have even more in that genre in our book list here, which you can find on our website. But we also have printed ones here in the library that you can come in and grab, and we can show you where those are, nonfiction as well as fiction. So come on in, grab them, put them on hold, and we'll see you next time. Bye.